Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Fabulous Lobby with Stephanie. I'm your host Stephanie, obviously, and on today's episode we have Donatus Prince, the founder of Verxio Protocol. Hi Donatus.
Hi Stephanie.
It's so great to have you here.
Thank you.
So please tell us a little bit about Verxio Protocol.
Okay, Verxio Protocol is an open source loyalty infrastructure that allows businesses and applications to easily integrate loyalty into their existing application and businesses in less than 5 minutes.
Okay. So before we talk anymore about your product, give us interesting facts about you, your background and all that.
Okay, I think is it really an interesting fact? But before I came into it, before I actually became a developer, I was a digital marketer, right? I was a digital marketer and I was holding courses, I was selling courses, I was holding workshops, digital marketing workshops, social marketing.
Affiliate marketer.
I was not affiliate marketer, I was more on content creation, copywriting. This was way before it became a thing.
Okay.
When Canva was initially released in Nigeria, so we were part of the first people that actually explored the tool. And I went into tech. I was a data analyst actually for 2 years. I worked on projects like Uniswap and the rest of it before I now said, okay, I think let's do this for 3.
So you've done digital marketing, data analyst, developer, DevRel, everything. This money must be found.
I think probably it took me a while before I think my strength was in non-technical, even though I'm a technical person. So the fuse was where my strength lied. So I think my experience contributed even to the path that I went. I understand this thing technically. I prefer to teach it to non-technical people to understand it as well.
Okay. So what inspired you to build Verxio Protocol?
What inspired me to build Verxio Protocol is when I entered Web3, I think one of the reasons why I entered Web3 was because of the incentives, right? So when I came into Web3, there was a lot of incentive. There were people doing experience points, loyalty points, but the system and everything is fragmented. Like everybody is doing it on their own, right? So we now decided, why don't we build an infrastructure, a standard where this is how it's supposed to be, that everybody can just easily plug and play into their products, and it becomes easier. So you can build any vertical on top of the infrastructure that we have.
Yeah, it makes it easier for the apps and
yes, it makes it easier, and we will now have a unified loyalty system across Solana. Yeah.
So while building Verxio, have you experienced any challenges? Basically, how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I think we've experienced several challenges. For example, when we started Verxio, the loyalty infrastructure that we're building today was not what we started with. We started Verxio as a platform where people can do some tasks and get rewarded for it. It failed. We decided to build an ad creator where businesses can create some sort of campaign, people can interact and get rewarded. It failed. Okay, the second one was a campaign creator. The third one was an ad creator. It still failed. So when the third one failed, I was like, there is something that is missing. So I went on a 3-month sabbatical. Do you understand? And at the end of that 3 months, we came up with this version of Verxio, and it's been amazing so far.
Okay. I like about that you guys went back to the drawing board and looked for what was wrong and made it better.
I think that's one of the things that founders need to be honest about. When you know that something is not working, you need to accept the fact that this is not working.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And have the courage, because it takes a lot of courage. Imagine when you've spent 6 months building something and
getting it and all that.
Yeah. So it takes a lot of courage and grit to even go back. That was why when we started building our loyalty infrastructure, we were not just building, we were building in the public, and we were getting feedback and we were changing as we build. Do you understand? So currently we are at the 9th version, which is 0.09.
Yeah.
That was not how we started. So we built what we thought. When we came, we saw some loopholes when people started integrating, some limitations. We went back, we changed, we came back.
Had version 1.
You understand? So those versions are iterations of feedbacks from people. You understand? To the point where it is right now that anybody, like, it is completely flexible and composable at this point. But because I will keep iterating because there is still more work.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
So, where do you see Verxio by the end of this year? I don't say like in 3 years or 5 years. Let's by the end of this year, where do you see Verxio?
So when we see Verxio by the end of this year, all things going accordingly, we see Verxio powering between 25 to 30% of loyalties across the entire Solana, right? So we have a lot of teams that are building for the Colosseum Hackathon that they are integrating the Verxio Protocol. Yeah, so we are trying to also reach some partnerships with other communities that have like larger audience, so they can, instead of trying to build their own loyalty infrastructure, they can easily plug and play our own system. Because the beautiful thing about us and what they currently have is that in our system, the loyalty is managed by the business, the organization, but owned by the user, right? Because every loyalty is created as a core collection, which is powered by a Metaplex, and it lives on the user's wallet, but it's controlled. So it's like a controlled NFT. Okay. So you can basically track everything you're doing on chain.
I think I got like an NFT review because I did reach out to Elvis. I think Elvis Pay is working on the integration.
Yeah. So Elvis Pay is basically using our infrastructure to kind of track user. So the more you pay for your utility on Airbus, they give you like there's a loyalty point that is incentivizing you to keep spending. So the more you spend, the more you qualify for cashback, so reward within Ego. But that's the beauty of what we build. So we give you the infrastructure. You decide how you want to use it in your application. That's how composable and flexible we made it. And probably this is the first time I'm saying this, not just on record, like I'm saying it publicly. But we're also working on a version where the NFT itself dynamically renders. So as you acquire more points, your NFT changes. So that's like what to talk about the roadmap. That's like what we are going to be working on next. So the NFT you have in your wallet. So as you acquire more loyalty points, as you improve, as you acquire some on-chain activities, so your NFT adapts to those changes. So it dynamically changes. And this also unlocks several use cases for business, because you can decide to send out Happy Christmas, and everybody in your loyalty program, when they go to your wallet, they're basically seeing Happy Christmas from all of us at Airbus. That's big things too. So things change dynamically.
I think that also helps businesses, because when they see those kind of messages, it makes the users feel appreciated.
So right now, when you go to your Verxio dashboard, like those are basically how it's appearing. We want it now to, you don't have to go to the Verxio website to see those. You can basically see it on your wallet, because it's basically your identity.
Okay, I love that you guys are cookie. You have a lot of stuff for the users, so they should watch out. Before we go, what do you have to say to like startup founders out there? Like, just give them one message or something about building as a founder in Solana ecosystem.
I think one of the things I have to say to founders is, when you choose to become, not every developer can become a founder. Right? Do you understand? So when you choose to become a founder, it takes you through its own university. Do you understand? So it builds character in you as a founder. It builds patience. Do you understand? Apart from the things you get to learn. Do you understand? So I think my advice to founders would be patient. Do you understand? Because you and also be willing to make a tough decision. That tough decision can be letting go of your friend that is working with you on that project, or the person is drawing the project back. You have to let them go, making those tough decisions. Like that, also that tough decision can be to keep going. Right?
When you're not seeing any results.
Even when you're not seeing the results, to keep going. Because the truth is that it's in your going that you basically get your PMF, your product market fit. You won't get your product market fit if you keep it in. So be resilient. Be resilient, Be out there, keep going, keep learning, keep relearning, get feedback. So founders I've met also, they have this pride when you give them feedback to change something, they still go back and do what they have in mind.
They don't like, they want to do.
You understand?
They
So
like
it's a pride that comes with being a founder, but you have to understand that if it's not working, especially when somebody with experience is telling you that this is not working, look at it that it's not working. Because at the end of the day, you are still the one that will pay the price. You understand? So you don't have to. You will say experience is the best teacher, but experience is not actually the best. It doesn't have to be your experience. Yes, experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience.
You can use someone else's.
Do you understand? It doesn't have to be your experience.
Okay, so I think that's like the one thing that all those bidding for the hackathon right now in Super Team they get to learn from the experience of Harry, Zubi, and other founders like you.
So you don't have to. Actually, I felt pretty because earlier, sometime last year, we had a conversation with Zubi. So Zubi said something that we should look to adapting. So I didn't quite understand it then. It took us another 9 months before we came back to the advice I was giving. It was 9 months. You understand? So if we had listened well,
that saved the time.
So I think these are the things you pick up as a fan. You learn along the way.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So great to have you. Thank you for joining us in this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in on this episode of Founders Lobby with Stephanie. If you're a founder and you want to integrate on-chain loyalty programs to your app, check out Verxio Protocol on X, and I'm Donatus Prince, the founder of Verxio Protocol on X. See you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.